Hey everyone, Alex here. Welcome back to the channel. Today, I'm bringing you a story that will leave you stunned, just like it left me, a story from the heart of Bali, at a sacred site where a single kiss turned everything upside down. Round Pura Besakih, Bali's most sacred and revered temple, perched on the majestic slopes of Mount Agung. This is not your average tourist spot. It's a living, breathing sanctuary with centuries of history and profound spiritual significance. Locals call it the Mother Temple, and stepping foot here means stepping into another world, one ruled by ancient customs, invisible boundaries, and deep reverence. When I first decided to visit Pura Besakih, I had no idea what I was about to walk into. I thought I was just going to shoot some beautiful B-roll, grab a few stories for the vlog, and share it with you all like always. But instead, I found myself at the center of a cultural storm, a situation that taught me one of the most powerful lessons of my travel life. The journey began early in the morning. We left our hotel in Abad before sunrise, winding through misty mountain roads. Our driver was a local named Kadak, who immediately made it clear that today wouldn't be like any other Bali day trip. Pura Besakih is holy, he told us. Not just old. Not just beautiful. Holy. You must enter with clean heart, clean body. And never kiss inside. I raised an eyebrow. Not even a little peck. Kadak looked into the rearview mirror, dead serious. No kissing. No hugging. No public affection. Spirits are watching. I chuckled nervously. My girlfriend, Sophie, gave me a look like, we've heard stranger things, haven't we? But something about his tone stayed with me. When we arrived, I was struck by how peaceful and powerful the place felt. You could hear bells ringing in the distance, smell the scent of frangipani and sandalwood, and see clouds swirling around the temple towers as if the mountain itself were breathing.
We put on our ceremonial sarongs, mandatory for all visitors, and made our way toward the entrance. A guide joined us, a soft-spoken man in his 60s named Putu. He welcomed us with a prayer gesture and reminded us of the rules. No loud voices, no pointing at the statues, and again, no kissing. It seemed extreme. But when you're in someone else's spiritual home, you follow their rules. Or at least, you try. It wasn't until later that things went wrong. And when I say wrong, I mean spectacularly wrong. We had spent about an hour quietly exploring. I filmed the shrines, the altars, the long lines of devotees carrying colorful offerings. Everything about the place demanded silence, stillness, and awe. You could almost feel the centuries of prayers soaked into the stones. At one point, we sat on a step facing a large inner courtyard. It was shaded by old banyan trees, the sunlight filtering through in a golden haze. Sophie leaned on my shoulder. I turned to her, and without even thinking, I kissed her. It wasn't passionate. It wasn't long. It was just instinctual. And then everything froze. A group of temple caretakers nearby immediately stopped what they were doing. A woman gasped audibly. 2 teenagers pointed, and an elder priest, who had been walking along the edge of the platform, turned around and stared directly at us. He said nothing, but his gaze cut through me like a blade. Then a temple official approached. No shouting, no aggression, just a firm, almost mournful gesture toward the exit. We were being asked to leave. I opened my mouth to explain, to apologize, to beg. But Sophie put her hand on my arm and whispered, "Let's just go." Walking down those temple steps felt like the longest walk of shame in my life. Back at the parking area, I sat on the hood of our rental car, staring at the temple behind us. Kadak came up to me slowly. He didn't look angry. He looked sad. "You kissed her?" he asked. I nodded. He didn't scold me. He didn't need to. In temple, Love is not shown like that, he said. It's not bad, but it's not right here. This is a place of prayer, not romance. I explained it had been a reflex, not an act of defiance. But as Putu had said earlier, intention didn't matter here. What mattered was respect. What mattered was humility. That night, I dove into researching the customs of Pura Besakih. I found out that public displays of affection are considered disruptive to the temple's sacred balance. Kissing is seen as a worldly act, a distraction. The temple exists in what locals call the Niskala, the unseen realm, where energy, karma, and ancestral spirits coexist. Breaking the harmony of that realm, even unintentionally, can be seen as spiritual pollution. I was mortified, not just embarrassed, but deeply regretful. I had come to witness something sacred. Instead, I had desecrated it. The next morning, I made a decision. I couldn't leave Bali with this weight on my chest. I asked Kadek to take me back, not to enter the temple, but to stand outside its gates, alone. When we arrived, I removed my shoes and approached the stone steps. I knelt down, lowered my head, and whispered an apology to the land, the spirits, the people who had built this sanctuary, stone by stone. To my surprise, a monk in white robes passed by and noticed me. He didn't speak English, but he could tell I was seeking forgiveness. He smiled, just smiled. Then he offered me a few grains of rice and placed them in my palm. A silent blessing. I can't explain what I felt in that moment. Maybe it was relief. Maybe it was redemption. Maybe it was just the humility I should have carried with me all along. Over the next few days, we continued exploring Bali, but something inside me had shifted. I noticed how locals bowed their heads when passing shrines, how they offered tiny cups of tea and bits of food to invisible spirits, how silence was not just the absence of noise, but a form of prayer. I had come to Bali looking for adventure, but what I found was reverence, and I realized something I'll never forget. Not all rules are meant to restrict us. Some are meant to teach us. By breaking the no-kissing rule, I broke a boundary. And in doing so, I was taught a lesson I could never learn from a guidebook. So, to all my fellow travelers, listen up. This is the part you don't get on your average travel blog. Respect isn't a costume you put on at the airport. It's a mindset you carry in your soul. If you go to Pura Besakih, or any sacred place, remember that you are not the center of the story. You are walking through someone else's sacred pages. Tread gently. Ask questions. Follow the rules. And if you mess up, own it. Apologize. Learn. Grow. I still love Sophie. That kiss wasn't wrong, but the place we shared it in was not ours to claim. Thanks for sticking with me through this wild, humbling, unforgettable chapter. If this story made you pause, made you reflect, drop a comment, hit that subscribe. Because this channel isn't just about places, it's about the stories that change us. See you on the next one.